Gestational diabetes. Insert horror footage here, right? Nobody wants to think about it. Nobody wants to have it. And I totally get it. But I think there are a few things that it's important to know just as you head into that glucose test, as you head 24 to 27 weeks, to know about diabetes so that you're informed going in. And if you love being informed, come join me in the online prenatal class for couples. It is the easy way to get prepared for your hospital birth. We go through pregnancy, labor, birth, postpartum. We're here for all of it. So I want you guys to get prepared in there. It is all about getting prepared, not scared. In case we haven't met yet, hello, I'm Hilary. I'm the pregnancy nurse. I've been a nurse since 1997. I have 20 years of labor and delivery experience. Now, on my last baby, I had a glucose intolerance, and at the same point in time, I was also working some extra shifts in a diabetic clinic, so I really understand diabetes and pregnancy. So I hope I can help you guys understand it a little bit more too. The number one thing that you need to know about gestational diabetes is that absolutely everyone needs to take the glucose tolerance test. Am I here as a lover of the glucose tolerance test? Absolutely not. If you guys want to know more about my best tips for taking that test, tell me down in the comments because I would love to make a video about that if there's interest. What you need to know is that gestational diabetes, for the most part, is 100% silent. You would have no idea that you had gestational diabetes, even though it's totally increasing your risk for stillbirth and actually health issues for you if you are not managing it during your pregnancy. So even if no one in your family has gestational diabetes, you are feeling great, you're in a great weight. I have still seen people just like you have diabetes and need to manage it during their pregnancy. So don't lie to yourself watching all of the people online who say that this test is horrible, that you shouldn't take it. Yes, the test is absolutely horrible. I cannot wait until we have a better test. By the way, the A1C is not sufficient for it. And if you have any questions about that, I can tell you why if we want another video on it, but you gotta take it. Gestational diabetes, you start out with the 1 hour test. Side note, I like the orange drink. I don't know what's wrong with me. I also love high C orange, so take it for what it's worth. I honestly don't think that test is that bad. If you fail the 1 hour test, which happens to about, I think, a third of people, you then take the 3 hour test, which I am not a big fan of. And again, I have tips if you guys want another video on that. Tell me down below. And while you're down below, go ahead and boop that like button. It tells YouTube that this is high quality pregnancy content that other people would appreciate, and it really helps grow my channel. And subscribe while you're down there so we can hang out for the rest of your pregnancy. Okay, the second thing to know is that most people actually manage gestational diabetes just with their diet. They are not taking shots for it. Some people take a pill, but very few people are managing gestational diabetes with insulin shots. That is not to say that some people do need to manage it that way, but most people just change their diet. And when you do that, you're balancing your carbs and your proteins. And honestly, I think everyone who's pregnant should be eating the gestational diabetes diet because you feel so much better when you are eating that way while you are pregnant. Between your baby and how your body reacts to pregnancy, it just really helps when you're balancing the carbs and the proteins. Most often, that is done with a nutrition consult. If you have diabetes and your provider's like, I'll just manage it myself, ask for a nutrition consult. You deserve that. Hopefully there's one in your area, and there's online options as well. Side note, in the online prenatal class for couples, we actually have a whole nutrition section because I think that is a very avoided part of pregnancy. I bring an actual pregnancy dietitian in, and we talk about what you should be eating both during pregnancy and during labor. The next thing you need to know is that if you have gestational diabetes, they will ask you to check your blood sugars. Most people will be doing a finger stick about 4 times a day. If you find that your blood sugars are good, you can talk with your provider and say, hey, could I not do these as often? What I don't want you to do is to avoid taking the test, avoid getting help just because you don't want to prick your finger. See what you can live with, do as best as you can. But if pricking your finger is the thing that's taking you out of this, at least take the test and then you can know, and then you can move forward doing the best that you can. Also, those finger pricks, they don't last too long. Most people get diagnosed with gestational diabetes in their 3rd trimester. And so those finger pricks only last a few weeks and then you're done with them. Because the fourth thing I want you to know about gestational diabetes is that for most people, it resolves after pregnancy. Usually they'll do some blood sugars after you have your baby. I've heard some people going in and again taking another glucose tolerance test. However, that's something to discuss with your provider based on you and your unique needs and circumstances. But for most people, they are not needing to eat the gestational diabetes diet after they have their baby. In fact, a lot of people, myself included, bring in a special treat after they have their baby as a reward for managing their gestational diabetes during their pregnancy. I got chocolate cake from the Cheesecake Factory and it was blissful. However, one of the things you do need to know is that you do have an increased risk for diabetes. So if you don't change your lifestyle, if you don't change the way you're eating, that could be what you're looking at in 20 to 30 years' time because you already have a propensity for diabetes. So talk with your doctor if it's a problem for you. Okay, during pregnancy, it is so important to monitor things like that. But did you know that you can also monitor the health of your baby and yourself during your third trimester doing something called kick counts? I have a whole video on how to do them and how you might be doing them wrong, even how your doctor told you to do them. So check it out right here. Are you taking the diabetes test? Tell us down in the comments. Guys, get it done. You're really going to be glad that you did it.